I appreciate the way he pampers me. You know, sometimes I tease him and I'm like, you're my big bro. And he will be like, no, I'm not your big bro, I'm your husband. You know, but sometimes it feels that way. Other times I feel like he's my father, you know. Sometimes I fall sick. I was sharing with him today, I said, every time I fall sick and I recover, I feel like I've grown more in love with you because of the way that you take care of me, the way you nurture me back to health, you know. It makes me, so he was like, so you hope to keep falling ill, Abby? And sincerely, I said, yes, sometimes it feels that way, you know, because of the way that he takes good care of me. And it's not just materially, you know, even emotionally.
I'm Philip Bitrus, and this is
Nanret Bitrus, aka Mrs. Bokosman. I think it was a few months after we got married, like 3 months into our marriage, and we were dead broke. You know, when you enter into marriage and you're still enjoying the benevolence that came from people, and you feel like, money day, you know. 3 months, we were trying to set up our home, so we had a lot of expenses, and in 3 months we were broke. And we got broke, and I expected that, okay, as the head of the home, you will, I don't know,
go on somewhere
something else,
but
you know. And my husband was just chilled, like he was so relaxed. As if he didn't even know that we're broke. Ko-ajikinshi, you know. And I got upset because I felt I interpreted it as irresponsibility. So, but because I'm not one who is given to raising my voice and all of that, one day I just met him and I was like, I'm not happy with you. Like, you know, we are broke, you know that we are at our end, and you're not bothered. Then I remember we were sitting on 2 different chairs and he said, please come and sit here with me. So he asked me to sit next to him and I did, and he said, I've been to the highest heights in life, and I've also been to the lowest of lows. And then he was like, in all of these instances, God never failed me.
Yeah.
So I know that God will not fail us. When he said that, I don't know, I just had a peace, you know. I was like, okay, God will take care of us, you know. And that incident taught me a lesson that I think I wanted to see him restless or anxious as proof that, oh, he's concerned. But I think God used that incident to teach me that anxiety is not proof of responsibility. You know, one can hold his peace and still have his trust in God. That's not to say that you shouldn't make a move to try to, you know. The funny thing is, I think the very following day, God made provision for us.
I just found somebody that I can easily love without, you know, she's not forming, she's not, you know, making it difficult for me, you know. And I think that's something I really appreciate about her.
I'd actually been single for 6 years. Shortly after I finished university, that was when my last relationship before him ended. And I remember telling God when I went for NYSC, I said, God, the next person I'm going to date is going to be my husband. So I think because of that, there's a part of me that just that shut down to anything relationship if it wasn't a certain kind of man. And I had a few, you know, who would pop up every now and then, but they did not look like husband material, you know. So I never even took them seriously until he showed up. So when he showed up, I think somehow I just discerned that he's husband material, even from the very first day I saw him.
I found it very difficult to communicate and say, hey, look, I like you, I want to marry you, you know.
We kind of clicked.
Yeah.
It was very easy for us to click, and we had been friends for over 7 months. And every now and then, you know, 7-8 months thereabout, we're friends. And every now and then, you know, he would just hint something. I remember one time he said something like, let's just, you know, let's get the blessings of your parents and my parents and your reverend, and let's just japa. You know, all of this, he never told me one day, I like you. But every now and then he would make a comment. It was like, oh, something marriage related. And in my head, I'm like, this man, if you don't come out, openly to say, hey, I like you, I want this with you. I'm not going to make it easy for you or something like that. But we kept going like that. Then finally one day, September 2021, I remember very clearly, something actually prompted that. I remember he said something about, I've been trying to get to you. And I'm like, I don't even know that you've been trying to do anything, I just yapped him like that. And in less than 10 minutes, he was at my house. And that was the day he asked me out, officially. That was when we became official. But even before that time, I kind of sensed that we were going to end up together. I just didn't know when.
When we don't talk to each other when we're in anger, right? You find the heat of the moment, because you tend to say things that you regret for years, right? But we're able to find a way to allow the situation to kind of calm down and then talk about the issue. What caused this thing to happen?
And I'd say he exceeded my expectation, because during the period that we were dating, of course, I was convinced by his character that he would make a good husband. But being married to him, I'm now convinced much more, because I see maybe the summary of it all is his commitment to making our marriage work. He's so invested in our relationship, and I think that's what I appreciate the most about him.
I've always told her something, and I think I'll continuously say it. I don't want a situation where she crashes. If she crashes, I'll crash, and none of us can help each other. So we try to, like even in the home, I know sometimes I fail, but I do my best. I try to create a balance for us so that she works, I work.
I think we're both very homely people. We close from work, we're home, we spend a lot of time together, we talk a lot. I remember someone saying, in marriage, you can never over-communicate. That's something I really appreciate. That if there's something on my mind, I'm never thinking twice. Should I share? Should I not share? No. I know that when I share with him, he's very open to listening to what I say. He's very open to considering, my thoughts, even if it's a contrary opinion to his. He's never threatened to hear and even accept a contrary opinion.
I think in marriage, and I've seen this with some of people I looked up to at Jets when I studied there. Some of the men, you'd see them washing their wives' clothes and we're like, oga, kilo shele now, And they would tell you that if you don't want your wife to crash, if you want to see her well-being, if you still want to see her looking fine and good and everything, take care of those needs, remove some of the load from her so that she can, continue strong. We come back from work, we don't sit down TV and things like that. We sit down and we talk. It grows us intimately close. And that's something I really wanted all my life. I just needed somebody who was simple, somebody who was godly, somebody that I can just express my heart to and not feel judged or anything like that, So I just found that in her.
You're welcome. Everything that you are and everything that you have is a help to your husband. So when you come into marriage, you come bringing your 100%. You don't come with 50, telling him to bring 50, and then you meet each other halfway. No, you go all out for each other. And it's something we grow, or I'm growing in doing, because I'm human. The tendency is want to be selfish and want to hold back. But when you go in with the mindset that I'm to bring in my 100, whether it is my money, whether it's my time, whether it's my emotions, even though sometimes I'm lagging in that, sometimes I just want to, I'm not in a good place emotionally, but as much as I can, everything that I have and everything that I am is help unto him. So I come fully prepared to give, and it's the same thing with him. And because it's the same thing with him, it's easy.
If I really say I love this woman, I should be able to even understand her, even if she doesn't talk. There are days when she doesn't talk, but I can see it, I can feel it. I can understand that she needs assistance, she needs a rest, she needs something, So that's where I step in. There are things I do in the home myself, just even without her saying.
I remember there was a time we had two engagements, two very important engagements, and my husband was like, no, let's do this and let's go together, because marriage is ministry and it's important that we go together, and since he made that statement, I've held on to it very strongly. Marriage is ministry, and that's because through marriage, you paint a picture for society to see that it is possible for two people to come together, die to themselves for a higher purpose, that when people out there see them, they can know that, yes, in spite of the many negative stories we hear and see about marriages, it's still possible to have marriage that glorifies God, a marriage that doesn't stifle one partner, to the advantage of the other, but that two people are coming and they are dying to themselves for a higher purpose, which is God's glory.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe.